Today, I travel through the South Australian Outback to the Opal mining town of Coober Pedy. This is where you'll find underground homes, underground motels, underground cafes, even an underground church. This may well be Australia's weirdest town. I start my journey in Port Augusta. This may look like an ordinary intersection, but this is where two major highways come together, illustrating just how big Australia is. If I go straight, I'm on the Air Highway, which goes west across the Nullarbor. It doesn't reach a major city until Perth, 2,300 kilometres away. And if I turn right, I'm on the Stuart Highway, which goes right up through the middle of Australia. It doesn't reach a major city until Darwin, 2,700 kilometres away. Australia is huge. Today I'm turning right, going to be driving most of the day, about 500 kilometres to Coober Pedy. There's a whole lot of nothing between Port Augusta and Coober Pedy, but that doesn't mean there's nothing to see. This is the barren, dry Australian outback, but it's also a place of Australia's inland lake system. These are usually dry salt lakes, but every now and again they fill up with floodwaters. This is Lake Hart. It's all salt, but sometimes if it rains like even 1,000 kilometres away, the waters will eventually come here and fill up the lake. It happens every now and again, rarely. Just solid salt, almost as far as the eye can see. There's not a lot out here on the way. It's just a lot of very arid land and a very big horizon. And then every now and again you come across a settlement like Pimba. There's a roadhouse here so you can get fuel and supplies, but what I love about these places is they also look after you. There's toilets, there's showers, there's a place even to camp for the night if you're pretty tired and you need a rest from driving. Another 2 or 3 hours of driving and I arrived at Coober Pedy late in the afternoon. This is another world. Next morning, I was up early to explore. You get a view of the town from the lookout at the big winch, but what you're seeing isn't the whole town, because something like 80% of this town is underground. There are underground houses, hotels, bars, cafes, shops. A lot of this town is underground. And the reason for that is simple. It gets so bakingly hot here at Coober Pedy in summer, with temperatures well past 40 degrees, 45, even 50 degrees Celsius, that the locals have found it's actually easier to live underground. It's safer. They're away from the blistering heat of the summer sun. So in today's video, we're going to dig a little deeper into what's life like at Coober Pedy. This may well be Australia's weirdest town. This is Faye's historic underground home. It was built in the 1960s and 1970s by a woman called Faye Naylor and a couple of her female friends. They built the whole thing by hand. It's incredible. So kitchen, lounge room, bedroom, extension to the bedroom. Of course, the advantage of being underground is the temperature's always constant. It's just a nice temperature. It's not too hot, not too cold. And it's really quiet. So they say you get fantastic sleeps. It's dark and it's quiet. After many years of living here and making her fortune mining opal, Faye moved on, but she's left the house exactly as it was in the 1970s and 80s. It's like a time capsule. And all of this was dug out by a woman called Faye in the 1960s. Dug out by hand. She dug out the home, settled the home, and then started the mine next door. There's an extension. No, seriously? It has a swimming pool. It took 10 years to build this house. What an amazing job. And I guess while they were digging to create the house, they were also finding opal along the way, because there's opal everywhere in the world's opal capital. Now going into Faye's underground mine. Don't know if you can see it, but that actually is the ladder. Originally how they got in and out. Piece of wire and some footholds in the rock. Faye's underground home. That was fantastic. It was like a time capsule from the 1970s and 80s. And the woman who does the tour, there is a tour, and she'll give you all sorts of information about the town, about Faye, about the mine. Well worth doing. $20 admission. Well worth it. And this is what brings people to the middle of nowhere, Australian opals. There are many shops here selling opals and opal jewellery. I've come into John and Yoko's shop to have a look and see some of the finished product. There's a whole range of earrings, rings, pendants, necklaces, all filled with local opal. They also sell uncut, rough opal. Don't drop it, Terence, that's worth $250. So that one's from here.
That one there is, yep.
And what makes that special?
Oh, it's just a lot of reds, mate. Reds and oranges. That is the best colour.
Is it?
Yeah, most valuable colour.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a dark red opal fetching thousands of dollars, I thought I'd try my hand at scratching around. Maybe I'd get lucky.
This is what they call a public noodling ground. Anybody's allowed to come in here. You can only use your hands. Noodling is fossicking, right? But you can only use your hands. As soon as you get a shovel or a pick or something, you're mining. It's against the law. But here, you can come and noodle and look for opals. And people still find opals in these piles. So this is where you come to noodle. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get lucky. this? Ooh, that looks interesting. I think I might have found something. It's shiny, and it's got a tiny little bit of green in it. That took all of about 1 minute. And I found some opal. That's amazing. Apparently noodling's best done at night time with a black light, and then you see the shiny bits and pieces. They call this the jeweler shop because when you do that, it lights up like it's literally a jeweler's shop. There are so many shiny pieces here. It's a bit harder to see at daytime, but I found my one little piece. I'm happy. At Coober Pedy, even the motels are underground, like here at the Comfort Inn.
This used to be a working mine, but it's been turned into a motel, offering double and family rooms.
That's great. So if you really want a unique experience, you need to stay in an underground motel in Coober Pedy. Coober Pedy even has an underground church.
This is the Church of St. Elijah the Prophet, a Serbian Orthodox church built in 1993.
Wow, it's beautiful and weird. I just think Coober Pedy is full of surprises. Wow, this is really beautiful. The Desert Cave Hotel says it's the world's only underground international hotel. It's a bar and a cafe, and most of it is underground. What a fascinating place. Weird, but fascinating. But I guess in the brutal heat of summer, it all makes sense. Live underground, and you can survive. Opal was first discovered here in about 1915, and the town quickly evolved into a very rowdy mining settlement. It was a little bit like the Wild West for a while. By the 1920s, the first police station in inverted commas, was placed here. This is the old lockup. Now imagine being locked up in that tin shed when it's 45 degrees Celsius outside. That would have been horrendous. That's how life was in those days. The settlement was originally known as the Stewart Range Opal Field. It got the name Coober Pedy apparently because in the local indigenous language that means white men in holes. I guess that's a pretty apt description. This is the cemetery at Coober Pedy. Literally it's called Boot Hill because Coober Pedy is a little bit like the Wild West. I want to show you one particular grave here because there's a great story about it. Apparently, in the day, there was a gentleman who discovered he had a terminal illness, so he conspired to borrow $10,000 from the bank, ensuring that he would pay it back, of course. But he knew secretly he only had weeks to live, so he threw his own wake and had lots of beer barrels and free beer for everyone. And when he passed away, they put a beer barrel on his grave. And the inscription on the barrel is, "Have a drink on me." What a crazy story.
A crazy story from a weird town.
Now, water is life, and there's not a lot of water in Coober Pedy. These days, they get their water from the Great Artesian Basin, which is underground, and it's pumped up out of town about 20 kilometres away and brought here. But it's still a precious commodity. So if you want to fill up your water tanks in your caravan, you've got to pay for it. This is a 24-hour water dispensing station, and it's really necessary if you're travelling through Central Australia. I'm told in the old days, because water was so scarce, they used to do what they called wind washing. So you'd be down the mines and you'd come out at the end of the day really dirty and dusty, and you'd hang your clothes on the line and you wear different clothes the next day, and then the following day you come back to your original clothes and the wind's knocked all the dust off it. And you put it back on and go back down the mine. Wind washing.
Outside of town, the landscape is truly stunning.
This out here is called Moon Plain, and it's kind of easy to see why they would call it that. It's just a barren plain of rocks and dirt that you could well be on the moon. This is part of the dog fence, or the dingo fence. It's designed to keep dingoes out of the southern part of Australia, where there are a lot of sheep farms. It's been around for many, many years. It's one of the longest structures on the planet. This fence stretches 5,600 kilometres from way up in Queensland, through New South Wales, South Australia, and down to WA. It's about 3 times the length of the Great Wall of China. Incredible. And you can see this fence about 30 or 40 minutes drive out of Coober Pedy.
Over the years, this landscape's been a favourite for many Hollywood film productions.
And I believe parts of Mad Max Thunderdome were filmed out in this area. Yeah, it's kind of a post-apocalyptic world out here. It's absolutely still and silent out here. It is like another world. And my footprints in the sand are the only things I can see that illustrate humanity. I guess a weird town would attract some quirky characters. One of them lived here, Crocodile Harry's underground nest. What even is this place?
This is the den of an eccentric local called Crocodile Harry. I believe he's passed on a few years ago, but the current owners leave it exactly as he left it for anyone to come in and see.
This is bizarre, but really cool. I don't really know much about Crocodile Harry, but he seemed to have an obsession with women's underwear. Every part of the walls of this dugout is filled with paintings or t-shirts or photos or homemade sculptures. It's incredible. It's $10 admission to Crocodile Harry's. There's an honesty box, just pop your money in the box. Absolutely fascinating, well worth that $10. If you come to Coober Pedy, you absolutely have to go to Crocodile Harry's underground nest. You're not going to see anything else like it. It's weird. Like a lot of things in Coober Pedy, Crocodile Harry's nest is weird, but kind of wonderful in its own way. Coober Pedy's like that. It is a strange town. It's a unique town, and you really should come and have a look for yourself. It's worth it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. I guess a weird town place. There are obviously underground mines, but there are underground houses, hotels, shops. What else, Terence? I forget. So in today's video, we're going to dig a little deeper. I can't talk.